So many candidates stress over what they need to do to get a job, and they practice. They practice answering common interview questions, familiarizing themselves with the job description, researching the company on LinkedIn. But they fail to do one critical thing that can absolutely seal the deal for you: making the interviewer like you. I've been in recruitment for 15 years, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do to give yourself the ultimate advantage when it comes to interviewing, making the person across the table from you enjoy being around you. Let's go. I have helped hire thousands of people, and I've sat across the table from many hiring managers, and I can tell you, I've heard many times they've said to me, "Ben, I like this candidate." They didn't say, "Ben, I like this candidate's qualifications." They said, "I like this candidate." The fact is, people want to work with people they like. I've seen it happen time and time again. And if you really want to get a job, well, you should be intentional about making sure that the person likes you. So let's talk about the actual steps to make sure you can build a connection with the person and leave the interview with them thinking, "I'd like to work with this candidate." Now, the first thing I want you to do is absolutely nail the beginning of the interview. So we're going to go under the assumption this is an in-person interview, but obviously you could modify this if it's online. If it's in person, walk in, smile, look them in the eye, firm handshake, and say the words, "It's nice to meet you." Something like that. "It's great to meet you. It's great to finally meet you." But what you're doing there is you're expressing enthusiasm and the chance to interact with them. You're smiling, you're looking them in the eye, you're shaking hands, firm, not too hard, like don't break their forearm and their hand, but a nice firm handshake. "It's great to finally meet you." That's step one. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to master your posture. And by that I mean, don't lean back in the chair. That's absurd. Don't lean forward like you're super eager. That's weird and or intimidating. But be relaxed, upright, look them in the eye, smile. Nonverbal communication makes up a huge portion of what's perceived by people as communication. And sometimes nonverbal communication comes down to the littlest things. Now, it's really important to do these small, behavioral, visible things. It's also really important when they ask you questions, don't look away. Right? If you ask me a question, "Ben, what are you doing today?" "I don't know what I'm going to do." It's weird. That's not how you answer a question. You also don't want to make the mistake of having a poker face. Sometimes people don't want to appear rattled, so they have a face that is like a face of stone like this. "Hey, Ben, tell me about yourself." That's a really good question. So you don't want to do that. It's important that you're natural, you're smiling, you're relaxed, you're making good eye contact. These are little things, but they make a ton of difference in terms of the interpersonal connection. Now, the next thing you want to do is you actually want to research them pre-interview to learn about them, with the whole point of being trying to identify connection points so you can ask questions about that in the interview. So LinkedIn is a great place to do this. You can actually go to LinkedIn and you can read about where their previous jobs were, where they went to school, if they have interests like volunteering, animals. There's all kinds of things you can find on LinkedIn about a person. Let's just say you went to the same university. Well, that is a connection point. And when they ask if you have any questions, you can ask a question like, "I see that you and I both went to UW Milwaukee. Were there any particular courses that you took there that shaped what you wanted to do with your career?" That's a great question. What you've done with that question is you've let them know we have something in common, and now you've allowed them to talk about themselves, their passions, their interests, a moment that was defining for them. That is a type of thing that can create connection. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to find a moment to share something about yourself. It doesn't need to be a fact about your career, but something humanizing. If you could share, "I've got 2 dogs at home, and one of the things that I really like doing, blah, blah, blah," right? Find a time to do that. It can be in response to something they're saying. Usually, in an interview, there is a couple of moments that exist in which you can actually share something about yourself. And you have the opportunity to do that or not do that. If the opportunity exists where they open the door for you to share something personal about yourself, something humanizing, you want to do that. And ideally, it's something that has a high likelihood of being similar to them, right? So that's why something like, "I've got a dog at home, and what do I like to do for fun? I like to go out and take my dog for walks. I like to go hiking." That has a high degree of being something similar with them. And it's just an opportunity to humanize yourself and potentially connect with them. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to practice active listening. So many people in an interview are just thinking about their answers, just thinking about what they want to say, but they're not really listening to the other person. So active listening is looking at that person, nodding along, affirming that you're paying attention, you're listening, you're hearing them, right? And then saying something like along the lines of, if I'm hearing you correctly, what I'm hearing is that your department has a lack of blank, and what you're trying to do is blank. That seems like a little thing. But what you've done there is you've let them know that you are listening to them by recapping what they said and then moving forward with your understanding of it. It's a little thing, but when they're describing the department, when they're describing the challenges their team, organization, industry is facing, this allows you an opportunity to demonstrate your active listening and then respond in a way that lets them know, this person is fully engaged in this conversation with me. The next thing I want you to do is practice mirroring. Now, mirroring means you're going to mirror the energy, volume of the person you are talking with. So if the person is really laid back and they're calm and they're talking slowly, you want to do that. If they're calm, you don't want to be high energy like me, leaning back and forth and moving around. You don't want that. If the person's loud and they're a bit more aggressive, you want to mirror that a bit. Now, it's important that you don't look like you're mocking them. That would be a mistake. But you do want to be on the same energy and wavelength as them so they can see, this person is very similar to me. It's Google mirroring, and you'll see this is something people do to connect with others. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to let them know that it was great meeting them. So when you're on your way out, you say, hey, it was great meeting you, and I look forward to next steps. It's a simple thing, but it's letting them know that you enjoyed meeting them and that it was a pleasant experience for you. It's a small thing, but it helps you connect with the person, helps them understand like, okay, this person enjoyed our meeting. Small thing, small things matter. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to watch this video here. This video here is secrets about interviewing that the pros know. This is already a level 202 strategy. This video is full of them. So take this information, go watch that, go nail your interview. You got this.